We're now pulling out the cars to make the journey right the way around the layout to McBain Foods. We've got a caboose on the back to act as a shoving platform as it goes through the street running area. We're now just coming up to where the start of the street running area will be. We're now approaching 17th Street Junction. So this is 17th Street Junction and we're about to drop the caboose off on what used to be the main line. It's still in place and we're hoping that maybe one day there's some industries will come back to it. There's rumours of a electric vehicle battery plant. We've dropped the caboose off now. So we're now shoving back into McBain Foods. So our first job is to remove the two empty corn syrup cars. We're going to shove them back into the same spur as the empties grain hopper. So we've positioned the full corn syrup car there, but we've also left the full hopper there as well for the moment. We're now going to work the warehouse. So our first job is going to be to remove the empty Quebec and New England boxcar. So we put the Quebec New England boxcar along with the rest of the empties. Benton and Southern boxcar now has to be positioned by the warehouse door, and it's door number 1, which is right down the far end. So having done that, we've now got to position the reefer next to its door. So one last job is to position the incoming grain hopper on the correct spur. So the last car now being positioned, the train's heading now back to West Isola, and that's its work finished up for the day. Recoupling with the caboose. Back into the street running section, or what will be the street running section. So now shoving back into the classification yard to leave the cars there ready for the next day's work. And that's the end of my very first operating session ever.
Well, it's been nearly 30 years since I came across a copy of this book in my local library and first found out really about operating railroads. and I finally managed to do my very first operating session. So nearly 30 years, but we got there in the end. So what was it like after 30? Was it worth the 30-year wait? Well, I think so. I enjoyed doing it. Hopefully that came through with when I was doing the videos there. It was really interesting trying to work out what to do on the layout and get the cars in the right place. So that was quite good and quite enjoyable. Obviously, this is only a small switching layout, so it doesn't have everything that Bruce had in his book. We don't have any timetables or anything like that running, but it was still enjoyable for one person to do. I think overall, it probably took the whole session from beginning to end, took probably about 3 hours if you added it all together. It was spread over a number of days, but it was probably about 3 to 4 hours from one end to the other. But hopefully the way I've designed it is so that I can actually do a little bit at a time. So for example, the transfer run could be one evening for half an hour, 40 minutes or whatever. And then the next day's do something else. So that's what I do. It's come out really how I envisioned it, as when I was sat there planning the layout and planning other layouts like you do, doodling and daydreaming about what you want to do. It's pretty much arrived at what I knew I could achieve: a switching layout and operating as a real, hopefully, sort of industrial type area would operate. If you've got any comments, please leave them. If I've done anything wrong, please tell me that. If there's things that you think I could do to improve, I'd really appreciate that as well. For those people who've managed to stay the course and watch all the videos, well done. And hopefully you have enjoyed them. So what happens next? Well, fortunately, in about weeks or so's time from the date of this recording, I'm going to a Fremo event, which is a um, modular railroad event that's being held down near Birmingham, a couple of hours drive away, but not too bad. So that should be quite interesting, operating on a much bigger layout. So that hopefully will be a good day out. With regard to the channel and the layout, well, hopefully in the future I'll be showing you much more updates. I think I've got a bit more enthusiasm now that I've actually done an operating session, so that's been quite good. What I'm also hoping to do is do more how-tos, things the way I do things, which may um, not necessarily be the best way, but it's the way I found out how to do them. One thing I've been asked to do, which I'll definitely be doing a video on, or part of a video on, is how I operate my switches. They're all manually controlled, and I use under baseboard method of doing it. So I'm going to do that. I say a couple of people have asked for that. I've also got, I think, a coming up DCC, some hints and tips of some of the things I've done, where I've actually managed to get decoders and scale sound speakers into various things with Keep Alives, etc. So hopefully they're coming up, and hopefully you'll join me again in the near future for something. Thank you very much. Cheers.